Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 247, and I'm Lisa, also known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Instagram. And I also have the Fiber Nymph Dye Works account on Instagram, specifically for information related to my business and pictures and previews and sneak peeks and things like that. So you can follow me in either of those places. How are you? Today is a Saturday. It's Saturday, July 1st. And I was going to say here in the US. It's actually July 1st everywhere, I believe, still. I don't know. Maybe it's July 2nd some places already. I'm not going to take the time to figure that out. Here in the US, though, it is sort of a holiday weekend because this coming Tuesday is the 4th of July, our Independence Day. And so I know a lot of people either have Monday off as well or are taking Monday off to give themselves a nice long weekend. So if that is you and you're enjoying a long weekend for the holiday, I hope you have fun and are doing something wonderful, and I hope the weather's cooperating. It was pouring here earlier today. It's supposed to rain off and on all day today. And Tuesday's sort of iffy. It's, I think, 60% chance of rain, but not till the afternoon. So I'm really hoping that we can get out and maybe do some paddling in the morning. That's the plan so far. And we're going to possibly take my son with us too, because he has expressed an interest in going canoeing with us. So that would be nice. Anyway, I don't usually record on Saturday, and I tried to record this episode what day? Thursday, I guess. And I just had so much going on Thursday and Friday. I had a bunch of deadline stuff to meet and finish up. I tried recording and it was not coming together, and I was going on and it was getting too long, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this today because recording is one thing, but then all the processing time. So I cut my losses and I just did a shop update preview, since there was a shop update last evening, and I wanted to make sure that at least got out there so you could see what was going to be going in the shop. So the shop update was last night. So if you are interested in that kind of stuff, go and watch the other video. It was super short. It was like 15 minutes. I don't even think it was 15 minutes. So that'll show you everything in the shop. And I'm pretty sure there's still a good bit of everything except the sock blanks. I think there's only one sock blank left. But other than that, I think there's still some of everything up there. So you can check that out if you want to, and I might talk a little bit more about that towards the end, but I'm not going to go too into it since I already did that video. Anyway, so how I'm going to do this, because I do have a lot to talk about, and I don't want this to be a super long episode. Plus, I don't have time for it to be a super long episode today. My husband, by the way, is working in my basement today trying to finish up the ceiling project we've got going down there. And he warned me he may need to do some drilling while I'm recording. Hopefully that sound won't carry too much up here, but it's, you know, since it's a rainy day, it's a good day for him to be working in the basement. I was not going to say no. Anyway, we've just got a lot going on this weekend. Again, holiday weekend. So anyway, but I did definitely want to get this video out. Here's my plan, just so you know. And again, I will put my timestamp menu in that I've been doing, so you'll know what's when, and if there's certain things you'd rather watch and not watch, you'll have that to refer to. But I'm going to do, finished objects and works in progress. I have a little bit of stuff to talk about on deck and Stash Dash related stuff. I have a product review to do for you today that I'm very excited about. And then we have some a year in the life of a knitter, knit along talk. But I'm not going to do the prize announcements on here on this video. There's a ton of them, okay, because we have the June prizes, and you guys really, really chattered in June. And as I looked at it the other day, and I thought I knew how many prizes I was going to need to have, and then looking at it again this morning, I realized I need more. So I need some time to round up a couple more prizes for June, and I didn't want to rush that and just pull stupid stuff. So I want some time to be able to focus on that. So there's, the June prizes, there's the spring quarter prize, and then there's also the June challenge prize. So I have all of those to announce. Plus, there's going to be, in the shop news part, there's the second quarter finished object drawing and the the June Summertime KAL prize drawing. So I'm going to aggregate all of those prizes and I'm going to do a separate recording, and I'm probably going to do that on Monday because that will then give me the time to make sure I have all of my prizes lined up, and I'll have time to just do it in an organized fashion rather than really trying to rush just so that I can do the recording. I think that'll be better. Plus, that's a lot of prizes and it's going to take a good chunk of time. And I've already got a lot to talk about in this episode, so that'll help keep it a little bit more manageable. I don't anticipate doing separate prize drawing videos all the time. I've never really done that before, but I think in this instance, it's probably the best way and the most efficient way to do it. So I will beg your patience with me as I deviate from the usual way of doing things. But I will be sure that, you know, the prizes get announced in a timely fashion. Again, I just didn't want to have to rush and not do things as well as I wanted them to be done. Okay? All right, so there's that. But there will be talk about the new quarter of the knit along as well as July specific stuff. And then I have a little bit of Tour de Fleece stuff to talk about. And then there's a little bit of 10%, and I do have a little bit of shop news to mention as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get started. And you know what? Before I actually get started, let me just say hi. I didn't say that at the beginning. Welcome. I appreciate you spending some time with me today and during your weekend if you're, you know, on your break this weekend. And if you aren't from the U.S. and aren't celebrating this holiday, I think, is Canada celebrating Canada Day recently? Was that a thing? I'm sorry. I don't know my Canada holidays. So, but I feel like I saw things posted on Facebook about Canada. So if you are celebrating a holiday in Canada or have recently, I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. Let's talk about finished objects. I've got some, and it's very exciting. Unfortunately, there are some finished objects that I have that I can't show you. 3 of them are actually, they're very small items, but they're all of the same item, and it ended up being something that ended up being a design project. Like a really out of the blue, it's like, hey, I need to knit something, and I'm going to design it myself. And it was just supposed to be for me. And then I'm like, this is really kind of a cute little item. I think I'll write it up as a pattern. So that's what I ended up doing. And I do have it out to test knitters right now. I mean, this was super fast. It's so funny. My design process either goes like this. It's like 1, 2, 3. That's how it happens. Or it's like, I'm going to write this and it takes me 2 years and it's still not done. So, you know, one way or another. Anyway, the design project that is out to testers right now is not the Whimsy pattern. That one's still languishing as a design, even though I do have my finished objects now. But hopefully I will have that design project out and I'm going to be releasing it within the next couple weeks. That's my hope. So hang tight on that. And I also have a half-finished object, a hoe, that I can't show you this week because it was related to the club yarn that I just shipped out yesterday. So I don't want to show you that until the club members have received their yarn. So hopefully by next week I can show you that one. Everybody should have it by then. But I do have projects that I can show you, and they're both sock projects. So as I just alluded to, I did finally finish the second pair of Whimsy socks. So let me stick one of them on a sock blocker. So you already saw the first version of this. That was these, which I had finished a couple weeks ago. So this is a little less Whimsy version because the stockinette columns do not have cables in them. But this is the actual Whimsy version where the stockinette columns have cables that are offset. They aren't in the same place and they go different directions. So it's very whimsical, hence the name Whimsy. So I do have both socks finished now. Yay, it is an official finished project. And now that I have both pairs done, both versions, I really, 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 really am hoping to get this pattern written up and have it available to send to test knitters very soon. The way I'm going to be announcing my need for test knitters at this point, and this is what I did for that little thing that I just talked about, I'm doing that from the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account. I will post there what I need in the line of test knitters. And then once I get enough test knitters replying by email, not on Instagram, I will edit that post and say, I'm full, I've got enough, thank you. It just seems to be the most manageable way to do it, because anytime in the past I've asked for test knitters, you guys are always so generous with your time and your abilities that I end up with so many more people than I need, and it takes me a ton of time to reply to everybody saying, sorry, I'm full, I don't need any more, thank you, you know. And that's a good problem to have, but it's not the most effective way for me to use my time, or the most efficient way, I guess would be the word. And I don't want you to have to waste your time either replying to something that is no longer a need. So I think if I do it through the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account, and because I turned off the comments, basically I just posted, this is what I need, please email me if you're interested. I got emails, and once I had enough people lined up, I went in and I changed it. I said, that's great, thank you, I have all the test knitters I need. So you could see that and know that I don't need you to email me anymore. And it did cut down on a lot of emails that I had to send out. So that's the way I'm going to do it. I wish I was one of those really organized designers who could just keep a list of people who have said, hey, if you need a test knitter, let me know. I never managed to do that very well. I always end up losing the list or whatever. I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's just not the way I roll, apparently. I'm organized in a lot of ways, but that's not one of them. So anyway, yeah, Whimsy socks. These are sport weight socks. They're on my traveler base. So, and this is the magenta colorway. The other one, the little less whimsies, were on my 6 More Weeks colorway, which is a spring reference. So I'm very happy with these. I'm probably going to keep these and not wear these right now and use them like as show samples. That's the plan anyway. So the Whimsy socks are finally finished. And those I did knit on US 2.5s over 48 stitches. And that was a nice fabric for a sport weight sock. Okay, my other finished object is also a pair of socks, and you might be able to guess which ones they are. The Skittle socks, they're done. I finished the second one this morning while Bill and I were having breakfast. It's very exciting. At this point, oh wait, I can tell which, yep, this is the second one. You know, I'm going to put this on my sock blocker. I have probably 6 of these red sock blockers from the Loopy U. I don't know where they are. This is the only one I can find. I know I have a couple sock blockers up at the Mountain House, but like the red ones are the ones I use for my display when I do shows. I can't find them. I mean, I know I didn't leave them somewhere, but I just don't know where they're at right now. It's very troubling. So I'm going to put these socks on 2 different sock blockers, a wooden one and a red plastic one, but it'll work. So these are the Skittles socks. I knit these out of my Squish 2.0 base, which is a superwash Corriedale and nylon blend base, which I love. And these are for my daughter for her birthday. So I'm very excited to have them finished and off the needles. Her birthday is in August, and we will be seeing her the day after her birthday. So I'll get to give them to her in person rather than having to mail them. This is the second one. This is the first one. They look pretty matchy-matchy, don't they? That's always very impressive when I can do matchy-matchy. I didn't really use any type of fancy pattern. They were a plain vanilla sock. I just did that slipped stitch dealio whenever I came to a color change, but I did it on every other color change. So you can see they line up pretty well, right? And then you get down here to the foot. Can you see what might be a little different on the second one? Here's the second one. Yeah, right here between this yellow and red stripe, there should be slip stitches, and there aren't. Do you know why there aren't? Because I was working on this last night. We went to a free concert in the park. There's a park near us that does this every summer. It's really a pretty cool concert series. The bands are usually pretty good. So we're there, and I'm just sitting there knitting away, listening to music. And I hadn't worked on these in probably close to a week. And I'm knitting, and all of a sudden, I thought, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else. And then I looked at it, and I'm like, crap. Because I was all the way down here to this green stripe. and I had not done the slip stitches here, and I was one round into the green stripe, and I had not done the slip stitches here either. So being only one round in, I did back up, I tinked, and I did the slip stitches on the instep here. There was no way I was ripping back to here, wherever it was, yeah, here, to do that. It's just not going to be there. And I think it's okay because, number one, it's on the foot part of the sock. It's going to be in her shoe. It's not like somebody's going to stare at it and say, oh, that's wrong. And the other thing is that I did only do it every other color change. I think had I been doing it every color change, it probably would have looked a lot more noticeable that it was missing from one. But the fact that it's not done on every single one helps that. Yeah, whatever. It's how it is. I'm not changing it. The socks are finished, and I know she will love them even if they are imperfect. So, good life lesson, right? We love things even when they are imperfect. And people. So, another pair of socks done. So those two pairs of socks being finished now have upped my stash dash total, my meterage, up to 3,438 meters. Technically, it is actually higher than that because I have those design items that I can't show you. And I have single socks, which I'm not counting in my finished meterage yet. So my meterage is probably actually closer to, I would say, maybe 4,000 at this point, which I think is pretty decent. But I'm just going to go with what I have done and what I'm able to really say this is finished and I can show you. So stay tuned for more on that. And by the way, if you like the Skittles yarn, there is still some of this in the shop from last week's update. So you can find some Skittles. Matter of fact, I think the Bounce all sold out, but there's still some of this base, the Squish 2.0. So, okay. A couple of other things that I worked on. Oh, I did work on, yeah, okay. I have some things I worked on that I'm not going to show you. Like I worked on my Granny Stripes blanket a little bit, and I worked on the blanket that I'm doing for my oldest son. Not enough to show you, but I did work on them this week. Two other things that I did work on. This one, is this it? Yeah. Since I've finished 2 pairs of socks, technically that means I should be allowed to cast on another pair, right? Plus I've got US 1s free, a pair of free. That doesn't happen very often that I have a pair of US 1s, which is my default fingering weight sock needle, sitting around. But I was good, and I did not cast on another pair of socks since I do have several pairs still on the needle. So I pulled this pair out. This is my anniversary colorway, the Never Not Color socks. Since I have a whole one finished, I decided this would be the one that I move on to now to work on and keep it maybe my dedicated sock project to get this one finished. So my Bounce base, plain vanilla sock with a slip stitch heel, or yeah, a regular heel flap heel. My original plan was that these were just going to be socks that I was knitting because I wanted to show this pattern, the striping pattern, when I created the yarn. I'm actually thinking now that these socks may end up being my mom's birthday present because the shawl that I had started for her that you've seen and I haven't worked on in a while, I don't like it. I don't know. It's just not clicking for me. I'm not loving it, and I don't feel at all inclined to work on it. But I have not really knit her many pairs of socks. Actually, she only has 1 pair of socks, and that was the pair that she decided she was just going to take from me last summer when I was down there, and I finished them, and I gave them to her. That was fine. But that's her only pair of knit socks. She's always said, oh, I don't need them. I'm in Florida. But honestly, you know, your feet get chilly in Florida too, so I think she may be the recipient of these socks. Her feet are close enough in size to mine that I think these will fit her okay, even if they're just for house socks. So that is my new plan at the moment, that these will be for her birthday. I already had the second one cast on like a couple of rounds, so this was what I worked on this morning at breakfast after I finished the Skittles sock. So hopefully that will move along fairly quickly. Being a plain vanilla sock, they tend to. So I worked on that, but then I also cast something on this week. My son and I went to a movie Thursday evening. We went to see Wonder Woman. Excellent movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. I loved it. But I didn't have anything that I really wanted to work on, although now that I think about it, I probably could have taken that sock, but I didn't have that out at the time. Anyway, so I decided I wanted to work on something on a larger yarn. So I pulled a ball of worsted weight out, actually a couple balls, because I had this kind of idea of something that I wanted to knit. So this is a skein of my Cozy base, and this is the Rendezvous colorway, which is one of my variegated and speckled colorways from the Antigua colorway collection. So this is what it looks like knit up. I cast on, and here's the impressive part, okay? Everything I'm about to tell you that I did, not only did I do it, but I did it in the dark of the movie theater, because this was not at all cast on before I went to the movies. So I cast this on 180 stitches in the dark. I joined in the round without twisting the stitches in the dark, and proceeded to knit approximately 4 inches of 2x2 rib without messing anything up in the dark. I have to say, I am pretty darn proud of that accomplishment. There were a couple stitches that I didn't drop them, but like the stitch, I didn't get the yarn through the loop, so it was just sort of there, but I caught it every time I went around. I could feel that, and I was able to fix it on the fly. And so whenever I got home from the movie and I took this out, I'm thinking, oh, there's probably at least a couple mistakes in this. And there weren't. It was exciting. So I feel like I've reached this new level of knitterly something. I don't know. Anyway, you might be wondering what this is. So am I, actually. My plan, actually, for it is for it to be a longer cowl, but I want it to be extremely full and big and squishy. So my plan for this, because it's not really a pattern, it's not a pattern anywhere, is I'm doing this first skein. I'm going to knit about 2/3 of this skein just in the 2x2 rib, and then I'm going to start doing alternating with either this skein. This was the one I originally pulled out, this green, because there are green flecks in this yarn. I don't know how well you'll be able to pick them up. They're quite small, but in the skein it looked like it might coordinate well. Looking at it now, it just sort of looks like it might be too contrasty. So I went to my inventory back there, and I pulled this out. And I think that actually might be a better choice, because there are these pinks in here, and there is some of the pops of this electric purple in it. I just think it coordinates way better than that green. That green is too harsh of a contrast. So I'm probably going to use this. But anyway, my plan is to knit 2/3 of the ball. So I'm weighing 2/3 of that, of the Rendezvous colorway in the 2x2 rib, and then I'm going to start alternating garter. I'm going to do garter ridges in the round, I know, using the electric purple and this. So it'll kind of be a melt sort of thing, the way you did with like the color, the Find Your Fade things. And then once I get through the remaining third of this, having done that alternating, then I will just go back to doing 2x2 rib and finish this whole skein. So it's going to be 2 full skeins of worsted weight. It's going to be super wide. I mean, I imagine it's probably going to be at least, I would say at least 12 inches wide. I mean, this is already at 4 inches, and I've only used about half of this ball. So I don't know. We'll see. But my desire is for it to be, I mean, this is ribbing, so it's going to stretch pretty well. It looks small on these needles, but it's going to stretch. I want to be able to wear it doubled over and have it just like hug my neck in the winter. I think that would be so awesome. Just a really squishy, voluptuous, big cowl. It may also be big enough to just sort of wear around your shoulders, kind of as a shoulder warmer, you know? I don't know. We'll see what it's one of these things I'm just kind of designing on the fly, and I will be as surprised as everybody else whenever I'm done with it and we find out what it actually is. So sometimes it's fun to do that. And honestly, when we went to the movie, I was just in a place where I just wanted some comfort knitting. And while doing a plain vanilla sock, I do those in the movies all the time. Those are fine. They're easy to do in the movies. But they're not necessarily comfortable. Working with the squishy worsted weight yarn, doing 2x2 rib, because I like doing ribbing. I like doing seed stitch. Purl doesn't bother me, which is good since I'm planning to do garter ridges in this. Yeah, that's comfort knitting for me. And that was what I was in the mood for. Matter of fact, it was funny. It was that kind of a day. I went to the movie in like yoga pants and an old t-shirt. I did wear a bra, but like I looked like I just dragged myself out of I don't know what. I looked horrible, but I figured, hey, I'm going to a movie. It's going to be dark. Who cares? And I was comfortable, so. Okay, so that is what I've worked on this week. Like I said, there are a couple other things, but not enough to show you, so you'll see them another time. Can you tell it's humid today? Look at my hair. It's like curled up even just since I've sat here. I got a haircut last week, so it's shorter, which is nice because it was so heavy, and I told her, get rid of this weight, which she did, but now it's more layered, so whenever I get hot and it's humid, it just goes twing and curls all up, but it's okay. It's more comfortable than it was when it was like long and on my neck. Okay, so I do have some on deck projects because let's go back to my stash total. Okay, so I'm close to 4,000 meters. Okay, what you've seen is a little less than that because I can't show you everything right now, and I can't post everything right now in the stash thread, so it doesn't count yet either. In looking at my other projects that I have lined up for stash, remember all those projects I showed you, and my big bin is sitting right here, full of them, although it's getting emptied as I finish. That's a good thing. But anyway, in looking at that earlier this week, and I'm looking at it right now, there are some projects in there that I am just not feeling it for. And it's surprising because they were things I was very enthusiastic about when I first started doing stash. So going down through this list, the Never Not color socks, those will get done. Like I said, I'm going to do them either way because I've already got one sock finished. It would be silly not to. So that'll be done. My mom's birthday shawl, just not feeling it. I don't know why. When I finish the Never Not color socks, I will probably move on to the Splash Pad Parfait socks. Either those or the other socks that I have going on. Which ones are they? The Margarita. I don't even think I have those on my list here. Huh. I need to add them. My Margarita swirl socks. Those are the other two pair that I have that I think I'll work on during stash. I've got my Pixel Fall socks, and I want to work on those, but those I actually need to be able to focus since it's a color work chart. An easy color work chart, but still color work chart. And then I have those hoodwinked socks, which I'm fairly far along on the first sock on that. I may go back to that too. I don't know. But my mom's birthday shawl, I'm just not feeling that. My Rudbeckia shawl, remember that? That's that really pretty one that I'm doing with the pink Cadillac yarn and black yarn. I really would like to get that finished. Number one, it would make a great sample for my show later this month. I just haven't been working on it because, again, it's something I need time to be able to focus on the pattern. So I don't know why I'm not working on that. Then I have that purple water birch, that big bulky weight shawl. That I could knock out so easily if I would just actually work on it, and I haven't. Again, it's a chart. I need to have time and focus to finish it. Then there's the Afghan and the spinning. I haven't spun lately. And that's going to change though, because actually, oh crap, today's July 1st. Tour de Fleece starts today, doesn't it? How did I miss that? I need to do some spinning today. I have to do some spinning today. Anyway, all this to say is, like, I have all these great plans of things that I really, really would like to get done during Stash Dash. But I'm losing interest in them, and I don't know why. yet I want to cast on new things, like these giant worsted weight somethings that I don't know what they're going to end up being, and, you know, just random projects. However, the one random project, it's not really random, but it's a project that I really, really would like to do, and I may end up doing that during Stash Dash, is one out of this book. I just got this book. It's called Itty Bitty Toys, and I vacillated on buying this book for the longest time. They didn't have it at my library. I couldn't find it anywhere. But there's one pattern in here, and I hardly ever buy a book just because of one pattern. And actually, the deal maker on me buying this book was the fact I realized I had enough Amazon points that I could get it for free. I didn't actually have to pay for it. I know, that sounds horrible, but it's a cute book. It's by Susan B. Anderson. It's all these really cute little squishy stuffed things. And if you know me, if you've been following the podcast for a while, you know I hate knitting toys. They're not my thing. They're fiddly. But look at this sheep. Isn't he adorable? He's totally adorable. And that's not the one that I bought the pattern for. This bunny is also super cute. Again, not the one that I bought the book for. Look at his tail. I mean, look at his little bunny butt. Isn't that adorable? Oh my gosh. There are some super cute patterns in here. I'm trying to find the one. Oh gosh. Here's a pig. He's adorable. There was a little girl at the concert last night who had a pig. It wasn't hand knit, but it was a little pig that looked just like that. It was super cute. Okay. Oh, the giraffe. The giraffe is also very, very cute. I'm sorry. I am going to get to the one that I wanted. Oh my gosh, here's a huge picture of the giraffe. Look at the giraffe. Isn't he adorable? I wish I enjoyed knitting toys more. The monkey, I will never knit. I do not like knit monkeys. Sock monkeys creep me out. There's fruit in here. There's balls. There's a little bear. He's okay. He's not the cutest little knit bear I've ever seen, though. There's a hippo. Oh my gosh, look at this hippo. Is that hippo not the cutest thing? Little girl's cute, too. But the hippo, I love the shape of her head. It's just spot on for a hippo. Here's the one I bought it for. This is why I bought this book. For this snake. I love this snake. I can't remember who it was, but somebody knit a couple of these snakes, and I'm pretty sure it was for our knit along, for the year in the life of a knitter knit along. And I'm sorry I'm not remembering your name, but we talked about this and you told me that you used this pattern. It's perfect. I love it. I love the shape of the snake's head. There's a lot of free patterns and other patterns on Ravelry for snakes. None of them, though, look as cute as this one, I don't think. So this is why I bought this book. I really want to make this snake. I would love to make a huge snake, like big, long boa constrictor size snake. Although I'm not sure that boa constrictors have that shape of head. I don't care. I want to make, I'd like to make a whole dozen of these snakes or something, but I won't anyway. So, oh, hang on. No, I don't know who that is. Sorry. That was my house phone. It was sitting here. I forgot because I was on a call earlier today. It's my nature sounds ringtone. Hope it didn't blast you out or anything. Anyway, so this is what, like, it's sitting here on my desk. I have not committed to casting anything on for it quite yet, but honestly, that snake I think would be an excellent use of scraps. Yeah, and I've got lots and lots of worsted weight scraps, so we'll see. We'll see what I do, but that was, like I said, I can't focus on the things I want to be working on, but I have no shortage of things I'd like to start. But that's always what I want to do. You know, we all go through those phases. All right, product review. That's what we're going to move on to now, because I've wanted to do this for a couple of weeks now, but I wanted to wait until I was done with my whimsy socks because it's actually kind of related to my whimsy socks. So, the whimsy socks. As I showed you, the stockinette columns have cables, alternating cables. They go different ways. Every other one goes different way, and they alternate where they happen coming down here. So I've got to keep track. So it involves, you know, row counting and keeping track of 2 different rows. Although I was doing it in a way that I would keep track of the rows and I knew at which intervals I had to do which one. So I don't know about you. I don't know what you use to keep track of rows. There's lots and lots of things you can use for row counting. I've had those little clicky things. I don't usually use them because I don't really like the clicky sound. It's sort of annoying to me. Anyway, plus it's something I have to carry around with me. The thing I've used the most is an app I have on my phone. It's a knit counter app. I can't remember the name of it. I use that, but I tend to use that more if I'm doing really large projects like cabled sweaters, something that I'm keeping track of, like a lot of rows and repeats and things like that. That works really well for that. But just for something small like this, I tend to just wing it and count rows as I go, but I don't always get that. Case in point, my first sock and my second sock, the cables are different where I placed them because I wasn't counting correctly. So when I was at TNNA a few weeks ago, one of the booths that I came upon was the Ablet booth. This was so cool. The woman who created the Ablet, which is a knitting abacus that you wear like a bracelet. Did you notice me wearing this earlier? Did you think I was just being fancy? Maybe I was. But anyway, this is called the Ablet, and it is a knitting bracelet. Yeah, the knitting abacus. It's a bracelet. You wear it, obviously. She has them that they're in a lot of different colors. I saw this one and it was rainbow and I thought, I need that one. Anyway, the woman who makes these, her name is Sharon Coleman, and she was very lovely to talk to, and she demonstrated how this worked, and I thought it was super cool. Now, I know there are other things out there similar to this. I've never used any of them, but I'm going to talk about this one because it works super well. And I used it for the second sock. So even though it's not exactly the same as the first, that's more operator error because I hadn't made very good notes on the first sock. But even though I did the second one differently, it's consistently differently because I was using this. So here's how this works. There's 2 columns of beads. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Oh, here, let me show you this element of this. Not only is it a bracelet, and you would think, oh, it means I have to take it on and off and use the little lobster claw. No, no. You use the lobster claw just to get it placed where you want it, but then it's got this magnet closure, so you just pull, and it comes off super easy, so you're not fidgeting and fussing with it, and you can just put it on basically with one hand, so because the magnet's really powerful and it just grabs onto itself. I love that. It was so, because that's my thing about lobster claw bracelets. They stay on really well, but then you're like, you know, doing this kind of thing, trying to get it clasped every time. You don't have to do that. You did it once and it's done. So anyway, here's the bracelet. There's 2 columns. Now with this rainbow one, I learned that this green bead is at the bottom of the ones column. So here's your ones column and here's your tens column. There's 9 beads on each side. So if you're counting rows, how I was using it, rows and repeats, this is how I used it. When I was done with the first row, I moved the first bead down. Second row, second bead, and so on. Once I got to the end of my repeat and I needed to do the cable, I moved these all back up. I was doing this all while I was wearing it. I wasn't holding it. I'm holding it just to show you. Anyway, once I did my full repeat, which was up to this yellow bead, I pushed those all back up. You do it one at a time, and then I put that down. And that was for the end of my repeat where I did my cable. And then I started again. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I would be done. I'd roll them all back up. They move very easily, as you can see. And then, whoopsie, now I'm twisted, sorry. Oh, it clasped to itself. I'm like, why is that doing that? So then another bead saying I did the cable. And in that way, I was keeping track of my rows, but I was also able to keep track of where I was in which cable I was going to be doing next, you know, because it would alternate depending on if there was an odd number or an even number here. That's how I worked it. This would also be awesome for if you're a sock knitter who counts your rounds that you do in your cuff to make sure you're doing the same number of rounds in each sock. You could do up to 99 rounds, basically, using this because it's got 9 beads. And what's really fun about this is, if you've been watching the podcast for a while, you probably remember the fact I homeschooled my kids. And when they were young and we were doing math, our math curriculum involved using math manipulatives to help them learn how to do math and learning about the ones place and the tens place and the hundreds place and so forth. And that's what this reminds me of. This would make an excellent math manipulative for young kids, I think. And it's funny because Sharon is also a homeschooler, so I'm sure she's already made that connection. Anyway, she has them where they have 2 columns, and then she also has another version that has 3 columns, so you could actually use, that 3rd column depending on your project and how big it was. This worked out great for me with the socks. Again, it was so simple to use. It just clips right on. But again, okay, see, this is... okay, you know what? I'm going to turn it around. This will be easier. If I turn it around the other way... there, then I can show you this way. So you just push them down and then you push them back up. They're really easy to move. When you first use it, it's a little bit stiff, but after you've rolled them once, they're super easy. I just think it's a really clever little gadget, a knitting accessory. And again, she's made them specifically so they look nice, so you can keep it on your wrist. You don't necessarily have to take it off. It looks like it could be just a fun piece of jewelry, basically. But the nice thing is when you do take it off, if you go to put it in your knitting bag, which is what I did pretty much, the beads don't move. They stay wherever you've left them. So when you put it back on, you'll know exactly where you're at in all your repeats. And it comes in this cute little tube. And the inside, this little pamphlet in here explains how to use it. So you've got all of your explanations. Anyway, I just thought this was a really neat product and I was happy to use it and I really wanted to let you know about it. And Sharon has been kind enough to offer us not only a coupon code for you guys to use if you would like to get one of these, which I'll tell you in a minute, but she's also offering a drawing. We're going to give one of these away and it will be one of these rainbow ones. So we're going to do a drawing. I'm going to put the drawing thread up in the 90% knitting group, and I will leave it open until I do my next regular podcast, which will be a little over a week at this point since this is a Saturday. But I'm going to put the drawing thread up and you could win one of these, and that is courtesy of Sharon from the Ablet. Thank you so much, Sharon, for doing that. I appreciate it, and I'm sure my viewers do too, because I would love for somebody to get to try one of these. Also, again, if you would like to buy one, they're super affordable, and she's offering a 15% off coupon code to 90% Knitting viewers that is good through July 19th. And that coupon code is FiberNymph15. All capital letters, FiberNymph15. So you can use that in her shop now through the 19th, and her website is knittingabacus.com. I will put all of this information in the show notes and in the drop-down bar of YouTube. So you'll be able to find all that information super easily. If you have any questions, please just, PM me on Ravelry or email me, fibernymph@gmail.com, and I will be happy to make sure you have what information you need. If you have a knitter that you want to buy a gift for, I think this would be a really fun gift item too. So anyway, that is my review of the Ablet Knitting Abacus bracelet. And again, TNNA was so much fun for this reason. I got to meet people who are makers and creators of just such fun, innovative things that we can use. They're useful items. So I love that I was able to connect with people like Sharon. And I have some other people that I've met, that I met at TNNA that I'm going to be working with for different projects. And I can't wait to tell you about those too. It was wonderful. It was a great experience. So anyway, again, thank you, Sharon, for offering the coupon code and for the bracelet giveaway. And you guys can find all that information in the show notes, and the drawing thread for the bracelet giveaway will be a separate thread in the 90% Knitting group. Okay, let's move on to the knit along, the year in the life of a knitter. We are now in the summer quarter. It began today, July 1st, and it will run through the month of September. So our themes for the summer quarter are fun, travel, and relaxation, because that's what summer's for, right? That's all we do. We don't work at all. I know, but you like to think about it, right? Anyway, those are the themes. And our July focus moves away from the yarn weights, which were the focus for the first 6 months of the year. And the summer quarter will be all about different types of fabric. And so this month is plain vanilla, so stockinette stitch. That is our focus for July. I've already started the summer quarter thread in the group, so you can start your chatter, because again, just like it has been the first couple of quarters, I'll be doing drawings from there for the monthly. The monthly drawings are there. Doesn't have anything to do with finished objects, just chatter, show us what you're working on, anything like that. That's where to post those things, and every post is an entry into the monthly drawings and ultimately the quarterly drawing. And then there's going to be the July challenge. And the July challenge is going to be the Christmas in July gift knit challenge. Now, let me start out by saying, if you don't celebrate Christmas, that's absolutely fine. There are a ton of winter holidays that we give gifts for. The whole purpose of this particular knit along or challenge is to start thinking about your gifts a little earlier than, say, December 1st, like I often do. So if you're thinking about them now, you might be able to knock some little ones out. And that's what this challenge is all about. So again, with all of our challenges, your projects have to be started and finished within that month. So they all have to start and finish in July. Everything you knit has to be a gift knit, though. It can't be something for yourself. It needs to be a gift knit that you are actually going to give to someone else for a winter holiday, as you would like to interpret that. So I would say anything for the winter quarter. So July, August, September is the summer quarter, and we have fall. So anything like December, January, even November. Let's go with like Thanksgiving, from Thanksgiving on, through the winter. And I will even include like winter birthdays. If you're knitting for a wintertime birthday, that'll qualify too. So the thing about your focus, or the other qualification for this, is that whatever project you knit has to be at least 75% stockinette. Now that's going to be, your word. Obviously, it can have other things in it, like ribbing or a little bit of lace or whatever, but because our focus this month is stockinette, we're going to make your gift knitting super easy and have it be 75% stockinette. That covers a lot of things. Mitts, hats, scarves. You can do a lot of things with stockinette. And a minimum of 50 yards needs to be used. I did not include an element this time that will allow you to double post. You can use any yarn. There's no double posting for this one. It's just, since the yardage is so small, I figured that makes it pretty easy to knock out several projects, or as many as you'd like to, actually, for the July challenge. I have the July challenge thread already up in the group, so all of the guidelines are written out there quite clearly, I think, better than last month. But if you have any questions, please ask them in the main summer quarter thread, or you can, again, PM me or email me, and I'll be happy to clarify anything that you need. Okay. Tour de Fleece starts today. We do have a Tour de Fleece thread in the 90% knitting group. There is not an official Tour de Fleece team for 90% knitting or Fiber Nymph Dye Works. It's just a place, the thread is just a place to chatter. If you're going to be participating in Tour de Fleece on any team or just on your own or unofficially, and you want some encouragement and want to share what you're spinning, please feel free to post in there. I think that would be a lot of fun. I know there's a few people who are posting in there already, and I am planning to try to spin every day. I would like to finish that Targhee, the Highland Handmaid's Targhee that I started. That's what my goal is. I would like to spin that. And also possibly spin on some of my drop spindles, but the Targhee is my #1 priority for Tour de Fleece. So what I wanted to ask, though, related to spinning, is Spinzilla, which is a TNNA related event. It is in October. And it's a week of like heavy duty spinning to see how much individual teams can spin. I have never actually participated in Spinzilla. I'm not opposed to it by any stretch, but I'm just wondering, would there be any interest in our group for me to sponsor a Spinzilla team for October? If there is, I would be happy to consider that and look into it. I know registration doesn't open for the team registration for a while. I did look that up. So there's time to talk about it. But if you would be interested in being part of a Spinzilla team, a 90% knitting or Fiber Nymph Dye Works Spinzilla team, please post in the episode thread and let me know that. And if there's enough interest, I will look into it further. And also, if there is enough interest and there's somebody who would be willing to help out by being the team captain for that, please let me know that too. You can PM me if you'd rather do that, or if you need more details, and I will get them to you as I can. Okay, that's everything for 90%. 10%, I just want to talk to you about festivals, okay? Not knitting related festivals though, that's the thing. We all know that there's lots and lots of fiber festivals and everything throughout the summer, and those are awesome. But I'm just wondering, do you guys have like local festivals that you enjoy going to during the summer and even the fall, really? The reason I ask is because last weekend, Bill and I ended up going down to this little bluegrass festival. It was super close to our house, and we mainly went down because we'd been working all day and we're like, hey, we can like just grab dinner down there. Which was fine. We did. It ended up kind of being an expensive dinner though, because I think we had to pay $10 a piece to get into this thing, and it was not a very big event, but it was okay. It was supporting something local, and that was kind of the most important part of it. And the music was really good. I like bluegrass. It's fun. But anyway, I love those kinds of just little local quirky festivals. Like towards the end of this month, we're going to a UFO festival. Yeah, I know. It's going to be awesome. I told him I wanted to go last year, but we ended up not being home that weekend. I seriously just want to go and get the t-shirt, because how awesome would that be? There was apparently a UFO landing or something somewhere near where we live many years ago, and it was like all in the news or something. I don't know. I don't know the details. But yeah, like any of these, just or even carnivals or festivals that are local to your area. Do you go to like your county fairs, things like that? I would just love to hear about it, because I remember going to these things as I was growing up and even as a teenager, and I've gone to different ones as an adult, and they're always fun. They always have like a little bit of local flavor to them. The foods, like I had halushki. Like that's a very Western Pennsylvania kind of food to eat at a fair. I remember when my oldest son was in soccer, they used to sell halushki at the snack bar. Like, that's interesting, right? If you don't know, halushki is like a noodle and cabbage and lots of butter dish. Super good. Not at all healthy, but really yummy. So anyway, I'm going to start a thread just for festivals. Tell us about, I'd love to hear about your local festivals that you go to, and what, if there's any quirky themes to them, like just let us know. I think it's fun. All right, let's move on to shop news. Again, I did the shop preview video for last night's update the other day, so that's up there if you'd like to see what was in the shop. Pretty much everything, again, is up there. I did 3 different colorways. I put more of the summertime blues in there. I introduced the pizza pie colorway, which is another one of my pie stripes. It was from the pie of the every other month club that I did last year. So I'm starting to introduce those colorways into the shop. So pizza pie is up there now if you're looking for some new pie yarn. And then I also did this colorway. I'll just show you this real quick because I have it sitting here. It may look like your regular black and gold yarn for like Pittsburgh Steelers, but it's actually a Pittsburgh Penguins colorway. And the striping pattern is very specific to the Penguins because it was inspired by the way the sleeves on the Penguins uniform stripe. Yeah, so there's some of this left as well, if you would like to look at that. I think there's only one sock blank left. I did put some new inversibles up, and they're swirl inversibles, so they'll have a semi-solid stripe and then a swirl stripe. That was fun to create. I did a few different colorways of those. And oh, and I restocked the bedazzled semi-solids because you guys really like those, and I sold out of several of the colors, so I replaced most of the ones that sold out. I replaced, plus I did some new ones, so that's up there. So check that out. Like I said, there's still a good bit of stuff in the shop in general. And then there is the Summertime KAL going on in the 90% knitting group, or I'm sorry, in the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group. Again, I'm going to do the winners, announce those winners on the winner video that I'm going to do on Monday, the drawing winner. I'm just going to do all of the drawing winners in that video, and hopefully y'all will see that and hear that you were the winner. If not, I will definitely announce the winners again on the next podcast for anybody who didn't see it and doesn't get in touch with me. But again, I need the time to be able to actually do that right. And since today is the first day of July and everything just closed this morning, I didn't have time to do that before I recorded. So I will announce the June winner for the self-striping month of the Summertime KAL in that one. And I will also announce the second quarter finished object drawing winner next episode, which that one is always a $25 gift certificate to my shop. So be looking for that little addendum video. I promise it'll be short, but it'll be better than me trying to add it into this video, because this video is already 55 minutes long and I'm really trying to keep them under an hour. So, okay, that is everything I've got for you right now. Again, you know, shop update was Friday. Still plenty of things if you want to check that out. You'll find the show notes for this episode in the 90% Knitting group on Ravelry in the episode thread. Timestamp menu will be a part of that. I also include the timestamp menu in the drop down on YouTube. I don't know if it shows up on iTunes or not in the description. I think it should, but I can't guarantee that because I don't use iTunes personally. I don't know how that works. I mean, I know how iTunes works. I just don't use it for watching podcasts. Sorry, that sounded confusing. Don't forget that there's a Fiber Nymph Dye Works page on Facebook, which is a great place to get news and updates, and if I'm doing promotions or sales, excellent place. Instagram, again, the Fiber Nymph Dye Works Instagram account is also a wonderful place to keep abreast of sales and promotions. You might want to be checking that out in the coming days because there may be a sale coming up sometime soon. As well as the Ravelry group. There's the Fiber Nymph Dye Works group in Ravelry as well. Yeah, so that's everything. I hope you are having a wonderful weekend. Please enjoy it. Be safe around those fireworks. But have a great time if you're celebrating the 4th of July or a Canadian holiday. I'm sorry. I know there was a Canadian holiday. I'm so sorry. I feel like I should know this. Anyway, take care, and I will talk to you probably in a little over a week. I will do my next regular episode. So take care. Bye-bye.